Welcome inside the courtside. My name is Zach, and today we are reviewing the first two games of each NBA Conference Finals series so far. These have been all very entertaining games, great games so far. Could not have asked for a better start to these conference finals. So let's get right into it. The first series we're going to talk about, the most entertaining one for me, is this Thunder Spurs series. This is the most excited I've been for a series in a long, long time, possibly ever. And it's lived up to the billing so far. It's tied 1-1 after the first two games. Game one was truly one of the best basketball games I've ever watched in my life. The Spurs win 122 to 115 in double overtime. Wemby has the game of his life, a fantastic game. He plays almost 50 minutes, 49 minutes. He had 41 points, 24 rebounds. Fantastic game all around, offensively, defensively. Even when he's not getting blocks or getting steals or things like that, just his impact around the rim, his presence around the rim is so strong that it throws everybody else off. You saw Shea have a really, really tough game. He himself played over 50 minutes, 51 minutes, only had 24 points. And even then, I feel like he had a lot less than that. He shot only 7 of 23 from the field and 2 of 7 from 3. Definitely not his best game by any means, but he did bounce back really well in game two, where he had 39 and 4. So that great game for him last night in game two. And one of the things you hate to see is Jalen Williams go out with an injury. He injured his hamstring. He's had issues with both of his hamstrings throughout the season. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. They said he was out day to day and will be evaluated like on a game to game basis. And so hopefully he's back soon. You'd hate to see something like that hover over the series and people say that it's not really legit because of injury. However, the Spurs are dealing with their own injuries. De'Aaron Fox didn't play in game one or two, and then you saw Dylan Harper leave in about the third quarter of that game two. And so you hate to see that. You love to see both teams be fully healthy. Some things I'm really interested to see for the rest of the series is how the Thunder attack Wemby. I think you saw more of how they're going to do it in game two with more bigs, because you saw in game one they tried to do a small sometimes, with Chet and Hartenstein not on the floor, and they had like Jalen Williams or Alex Caruso on him, and it really didn't work. And I was surprised they stuck with it for as long as they did in game one, because he was dominating so much of that game, like from start to finish. That was Wemby's game the whole way, and they had Chet kind of shadowing him sometimes, but not fully guarding him one on one. And there's other times where Chet and Hartenstein aren't even on the floor at all, and it's really just Jalen Williams or Alex Caruso on him one on one in the paint, and it wasn't working. But in game two, you saw more of those bigs. You saw Chet on him a lot more, Hartenstein on him a lot more, and they were playing physical with him. Hartenstein honestly was fouling him a lot, and they weren't calling it because it's the playoffs. They can't call everything. And so I want to see if they stick with that, or if Mark Daigneault kind of goes back to some of those smaller players. I know Jalen Williams is out now, so I really wouldn't expect it, but it's just something to watch. And another thing to watch for me is Stephon Castle and his turnovers. He's had 20 turnovers in the first two games. He had 11 turnovers in game one, 9 in game two. He's got to clean those up. He's played really well. He had 17 and 11 in game one, and then in game two, he had 25 and 8. So he's been playing really well, just been turning the ball over. If he can clean those up, they're in great shape. I think they just wanted to get one. They would have loved to win two, and they were trying to win two. But if you told the Spurs come into the series, they'd be tied up 1-1 going back to San Antonio, I think they'd take that every day of the week. Wemby didn't have quite as good of a game in game two. Like I said, they played him with those bigs more, and he wasn't able to dominate inside quite like he did in game one. Still a solid game. He had 21 and 17, which is really good. It was 8 of 16 from the field. You'll take that. But I just can't get over that game one performance. That three at the end of overtime was insane. That 30-footer, 35-footer, however long that was, like I said, unbelievable. I could not believe what I was watching that whole game. And that was truly one of the best games I've watched as a basketball fan. One of the biggest keys to me for this series is Chet Holmgren, especially with that matchup with Wemby, offensively and defensively. What are the Thunder going to get from Chet? He didn't have a good game in game one. He wasn't aggressive offensively at all. He only had 8 points. It was 2 of 7 from the field. I don't think he even took a shot in the first half, if I remember correctly. And so I really want to see him do more offensively, especially now with Jalen Williams being out. He's going to need to shoulder more of the load offensively for the rest of the series. He played a little bit better last night in game 2. He had 13 points, 5 of 10 for the field. So he was more aggressive, and it worked. And so you'd like to see more of that. And like I said, Jalen Williams out. He's going to need to do a lot more. He's going to have to be that number 2 behind SGA like he was all season. And he really flourished into that role all season. He was an all-star. And so he needs to get back to that. He can't be thinking too much about Wemby. And that's a matchup I'm really looking forward to watching next game with is Chet offensively versus Wemby defensively. I cannot wait to see that. And now moving over to the Knicks Cavs series. The Knicks currently lead 2-0. They got both games at home. They had the stunning win in game 1. They came back from down 22 in the fourth quarter, which is just unbelievable. I cannot believe that the Cavaliers choked that. Jalen Brunson went off in the fourth quarter. He ended with 38 points and 6 assists. Fantastic game from him. I mean, I don't even know where to start with the Cavs. Kenny Atkinson has to call a timeout at some point in that run. The Knicks went on an 18-1 run, midway through the fourth quarter to cut the lead to, I believe it was to 2. And I mean, the Cavs had 4 timeouts, and there was about 4.5 minutes left in the quarter. And Kenny Atkinson didn't call a timeout. I was honestly shocked watching that. I could not believe it, because you can only take 3 timeouts under 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. And so it is a use it or lose it timeout, and he still didn't use it. And I really don't understand why. And I hate to act like I know better than NBA coaches, but that truly made no sense to me. I was appalled watching them just get beat on, and the Knicks have all this momentum, and that MSG crowd is roaring. And the Cavs are just sitting there, and they're doing nothing about it. They're not calling a timeout. They're not making any adjustments offensively or defensively. Brunson is just getting whatever he wants on the offensive end, and the Cavs are getting sped up offensively, and it was just a mess, and they did nothing about it. I was very surprised. James Harden really, really has to pick it up. He only had 15 points in game 1 and then 18 points in game 2. He gets a bad rap a lot of the time as being a playoff dropper or a playoff choker, and he's doing a really bad job of disproving that, honestly. I mean, he was 5 of 16 in game 1, and then he was 6 of 15 in game 2. It's been a pretty rough watch, honestly. He was minus 22 in game 2. I mean, in the fourth quarter of both of these games, they've just fallen apart. The Knicks have gone a huge 18-1 run and an 18-0 run in each game respectively, and you just can't expect to win like that. But the Cavs have been great at home all playoffs. They're gonna need that. I mean, they fell behind 2-0 against the Pistons, and now they're down 2-0 to the Knicks. So we've seen them come back before, and we'll see if they can do it again. But it's gonna be tough. And this Knicks team is definitely better than that Pistons team. They're firing on all cylinders right now. They haven't lost since that game 3 of the Hawks series when they're down 2-1. So they haven't lost a game in close to a month now, probably. I mean, everybody's playing well. Brunson, Josh Hart had a great game tonight. He had 26 points, 5 of 11 from 3. Just fantastic game. Jalen Brunson didn't have his best game tonight. Only 19 points, didn't shoot it crazy well. He was a really good playmaker, though. He had 14 assists. That's a playoff career high for him. That's what makes this Knicks team so tough, is that when one guy is not exactly clicking, they have so many other guys they can go to. They have Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. They play as such a cohesive unit. It's so hard to take them down or anything of that matter. Because like I said, Jalen Brunson, not a good shooting night. But guess what? He has 14 assists, and they win by 16. It's just so hard to cut the head off the snake of this team, and that's what makes a game like Game 1 so hard to swallow if you're a Cavs fan. Being up 22 points with 7 minutes left and somehow losing that game is just completely unforgivable. I mean, they scored 3 points in overtime. Yeah, once that game got to overtime, it was already over. There's no way the Cavs were going to be able to survive another 5 minutes. They needed to somehow pull that off in regulation, and the Dean Wade 3 rims in and out, and the game's basically over at that point. Mitchell clearly doesn't really look like himself. You can tell he's laboring some sort of lower body injury. He's still been playing well. He had 29 in game 1 and then 26 in game 2. You just hate to see it, especially a guy of his caliber, where like explosion is such a big part of his game. And to have a lower body injury, it hinders that so much. It's really hard to deal with. But these bad last 5 quarters for the Cavs really cost them, and now they have to go back to Cleveland, and they got to win both. I think if they fall down 3-1 or 3-0, this series is over, and the Knicks have basically punched their ticket to the NBA Finals, and so the Cavs are going to need to get both back in Cleveland. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, follow on the other socials, the Instagram and the TikTok, Silent to Courtside, exact same as it is here on YouTube. Thank you so much. I will be back reviewing games 3 and 4, probably on Monday or Tuesday after those games are over. So thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.